Here we go again. Welcome to Hardly Heroic, the Circumnavigation number 2. Where, I thought about it. We're going to Detroit. I just gotta see the area. Never done it. I've written so many papers on the place. Gung Ho is such a great movie, high roll. It's a positive memory, can't help it. So, yeah, I figured we'd head west, bounce across Sandusky, hook a ride at Toledo, and land ourselves in western Detroit. And next flight we'll probably, I don't know, buzz Chrysler headquarters or something fun. The graphics and the frame rate have improved a little bit. I did tell it to not draw photorealistic buildings, so... Still so much better than what I'm accustomed to. So this is the third or fourth take on doing this. Each time I do it, I kind of get excited and hit the highway and find out that you can fly under the overpasses. And then I doubted the fact that I could fly under the overpasses and collided with an overpass. And that flight was over west of Sandusky.
Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree. Did you copy?
Yep. Getting yelled at.
Lakefront Tower, Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree. Continue for west departure.
Still continuing west-ish. I gotta say, the quality of the buildings, turning off the photorealistic thing, this wasn't a problem involving bandwidth for me. It was totally a matter of how much I can pull out of the card that I have in the computer, which is good. It's not everything the game wants, but then again, I've heard many people say this game was made for stuff that is still not out yet. I can see that. So, let's bolter it over to Sandusky, check it out. See what large factory-shaped things there are out there. Maybe turn it over to autopilot here in a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, this plane is just, it's so easy to fly. It handles banks so well. You could, it won't murder you in a roll. Uh-oh.
Lakefront Tower, Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree. Frequency change.
I've even gotten to do a loop, which it handled surprisingly well, though not, like, you know, frighteningly fast. I don't know why always... Does it matter if you always have your pitot heat on? Kind of figured that'd be like the first thing to freeze up. Anyways, track 272.
Engaging autopilot.
272. Send 500 to 5,000 feet. And lock in the heading. I don't believe that 9 degrees C. Like, I went from live weather and rolled it back a little bit. It is considerably colder than 9 degrees C today. Like, negative 8 to 10 C at ground level. No, I heard when studying climatology, there are portions of the atmosphere where layers of the air do in fact get warmer as you ascend. It's only like a 7 to 10 degree difference, though. It's hardly substantial. Let's take a look outside and see what the North Shore of Ohio looks like. I mentioned this on one of the previous takes, but there's a surprising amount of space per house. Like, big damn backyards. Huge backyards. I'm gonna call that a high school. And I'm gonna say that's some manner of athletic complex, however, very poorly shaped. At least if you see it from the air. That could just be me seeing that. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I'd wager these are more newer, modern developments with more houses, less backyards. You got like post-war housing, and then you got post-internet housing. I'm a little curious to see how monuments of capitalism and consumerism evolve as you travel across the country. I'd wager that's a university, quite possibly housing. It'd be a really big housing tract, though. And it has housing adjacent. I don't know. I'm going to say university. Whoa, that is a big building. Let's look it up on Google Maps big. Question is, I don't totally know what I'm over. I'd wager we're west of Elyria. Oh! No. I think we're west of Lorraine. I wish the maps overhead would tell me what the stuff was. I believe that was Baumhart Road. Insurance Auto Auctioneers of Ohio? I don't know. Well, I didn't bring you along to teach you geography. I just brought you along to tell you random stories and enjoy the views. I've come back, fly under that bridge too. I can fly. There's so many bridges you can fly under. The Tacoma Narrows, you can't. Shoot, that's one of the few bridges I think you should fly under. It seems exceedingly possible. as a long-time West Coast resident that's very accustomed to looking at the Pacific Ocean, that is a huge lake. It's no body of water like Pacific Ocean, yeah. But in Washington State, you can see across the Sound from the mainland over the main mainland over to the peninsula. It's not a big deal. Like, I'm pretty sure seeing Vancouver from Washington isn't a big deal. Victoria, sorry, not Vancouver. The Great Lakes, great indeed. It's a large body of water to look across. You're going to see other lakes, but this is definitely something to consider. We're also going to see more than a couple meteor impact sites. There's a big one in Canada I've been wanting to go look at. That's going to be on our outbound trip here. We're going to turn back east at Detroit and enter into Canada proper. Stay on the Canada side all the way up to, I think, St. John's. I found a cutoff on Greenland, so we'll be able to hit one more country. Oh, I was totally wrong about that previous building. This building, right off my wingtip there, that's the IAA Auto Auctions place. Which means I have no idea what the hell we were looking at earlier. You know, looking at that building, and from the abundance of, what color do you want to call that? Blue? Cerulean? Azure? There's got to be an Amazon hub. There's way too many matching tractor trailers for it to be any other shipping entity. Ooh, there's a ton of... It's too bad they didn't have all this there. There's a ton of parked chassis there, too, for containers. Well, it's too bad I'm not on the receiving end for the money on the idea on it, but it's cool to see modularization and warehousing. It means we're all going to get our crap quicker. I'm gonna pop inside here. I'm pretty sure Sandusky is the waypoint I put in. Ish. It is. We're good. On the subject of Sandusky, I once got some brake pads and rotors from Callahan Auto Parts. No, seriously, if you go on, if you ever buy like the crappiest brake rotors and pads you ever needed, just to get rid of an old Honda Accord, I kid you not, I ordered them from either eBay or Amazon, and they showed up, Callahan Auto Parts, Sandusky, Ohio. And this was in like 2018. A long time after that movie. I wonder how long he was making. I wonder how long he's been making money at Sandusky Auto Parts. Callahan. Herp. Anyways, back to the surroundings. I do have some curiosity as to what these... I'm assuming they're breakwaters, because a lake when it's windy would have a lot more turbulent surface. It just even out a lot quicker. Look at some lonely wind turbines down there. Ew. You'd be surprised when you get to Texas. Flying over Nevada, you're definitely be, why is there not more solar places out here? Look at that. Now, are these... We ain't got these on the West Coast so much. These spits of land that come out. It's... On the East Coast, it's really interesting to see it, because it's kind of like you're watching the whatever that continental plate is that all that land is on, heading up out of the ocean. So you get interesting topographical things like this long, narrow spit of land right here, which may or may not be man-made. Yeah. You don't see that on the Pacific. I think that's a racetrack down there. It's got the right shape. I suppose it could be for people hiking, but... There's an airport nearby. I don't think that really means anything. That doesn't look very healthy down there. Thing is, I don't know if it's extraction or if it's a site for depositing used materials. Oh. Back inside, let's adjust for our next marker. There's a Noble track. And they got a short course oval attached to it too. That's a raceway. You can tell by the see the informal grassy parking over there? Total raceway material right there. The track's paved and the parking lot ain't. Racetrack. I ain't gonna lie, dude. I sweated that Gigafactory when I flew over it. Coming out here, it's considerably larger man-made structures in greater abundance. Anyways, back inside. This is just our course. 293. I'm actually going to say 293 is good, even though we overpassed it a little bit, because we're going to have a small cross breeze. Not Austin 316 worth of cross knots, but, you know, a little bit. I'm kind of tempted to bomb an overpass again. At the same time, I really don't want to do a fourth flight to Detroit. That's a very inviting strip of highway over there. Let's go back outside. The faux leather rubber padding. I don't know, someone's gotta tell me if that's like soft rubber padding or if it's completely rigid like impact plastic. The only thing I think of looking at is that I think I could bounce my head off of it and not die. But that's about all it's good for. Ooh, or if they give it like an all charcoal or all black interior. Yeah, with LED accents. I mean, it's like $1 million Mercedes-Benz that doesn't exactly sound like they took BMW's idea and just slapped, you know, a third bigger engine on it. In fact, this sounds very new Mercedes. It sounds efficient and comfortable. But not overpowered. Am I being presumptuous if I think these are cranberry bogs? It's like a fish hatchery, maybe? Oh my gosh, the graphics versus when I was little. I'm never gonna get over this. It's very, very flat once you come down off of the Rockies. From west to east, you come inland like 100, 200 miles, and all of a sudden you're climbing until you're west side of Colorado in a vertical line. So like west side of Colorado, west side of New Mexico, southwestern Wyoming, western Montana. And by then you're like 14,000... Okay, that might be an exaggeration. I want to say like 14,000 feet on like, you know, highway roads. And maybe more like 9. Either way, it's deceptively higher than you would expect. And then when you come down, like Montana's the start of everything getting really flat. And then like Texas and Oklahoma, Kansas, all those states are, you can just see forever on the horizon. It's land in every direction. It's a strange thing. strange in the regards that land is doing something I'm accustomed to only watching the ocean doing, and then you look the other direction and the land is anything but flat. Man, look at the amount of space per farmstead in the abundance. I probably wouldn't be as interested if I didn't spend the last 2 years studying about how we went from one standard of horse and buggy to locomotive in the space of like a river valley. Like it's still a patchwork as you go west. The farmsteads per house are big. It seems almost more abundant and accessible because individual properties are less few and far between simply by virtue of how big they are. Come back from a pause here. Who knows what reason number that is that I enjoy doing this. Had to go take the garbage out, put the kid to sleep, tuck the kid in, put on the nightlight, find out she doesn't want the nightlight on, but she doesn't want the humidifier filled, fill the humidifier, come back up, find out she wants water too, go get water, come back up, go back down, take the dogs out, have a smoke, and here we are. Still Ohio. I don't want to clown on it like that, but I'm pretty sure as most people's thoughts on Ohio is it's Ohio. I could say I totally, my stepson and I have this routine off and on of random weird road trips over food. Once was to San Francisco Chinatown because I was a delivery driver and had very Jack and Burton, Big Trouble in Little China ideas on where to go and get food. And the other time was after we moved to Pennsylvania, and the nearest White Castle was like, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours away. And we drove on out there and did the Harold and Kumar thing, got like 30 sliders and 2 orders of fries each, and I think like 12 burgers made it home. It was definitely an enduro meal, but it was, for having never had White Castle before, it was delicious. I don't think the soil changed or anything in particular. In fact, I think it's just pretty sure it's not the clouds. I think it's just the way the game is loading the textures. Yep. Is what it is. Actually, how I've seen it rain out here, they could very well have just had a very specific cloud come rolling on through and hose the place, including that little bend down there below the tail. Pop inside, see how far we gotta go. 6 miles, we're gonna make our last turn towards Detroit. We're right at the 30-minute mark, and I'm seeing my encoder spike, so I'm getting nervous over here. Oh, look, a rail yard. No lies, that's a rail yard that serves a phenomenal manufacturing facility right there. And quite possibly the adjacent one as well. Oh, yep. You can see the offshoot right there. Right there. This would be Toledo. Which means we are baking hard right. Here we go. That's okay. Start off autopilot. That was not very dramatic. Or anything for that matter. 021. Make it so, number one. The highway's calling my name, but last time I did that, bad things happened. Okay. Fun things happened for a while, but then a bad thing happened and I had to start over. We'll do it when we take off. We'll take the low road over to the Chrysler headquarters. See if we can find any proving grounds to go driving around or flying around over. Again, the scale of the rail yard is just truly impressive. Pop inside. 34 miles. 10 minutes. Give it maybe 15 will be on the ground. I'm gonna have to look up what these are because these are. It's a game, yeah. It's not real. It's impressive. Oval track. I'd love to say it's Michigan International, but I don't think it is. It's got parking like it is. Yeah, nah, Michigan is far to the west, over in Brooklyn. Aha, I found it. Well, whatever it is, it passes Shawnee Creek, but it doesn't actually say. No one's claiming that business. There's a go-kart track attached to it. Northgate Park. Might be something along the lines of Northgate Speedway. Ah, looks like a dirt track to me. Something I'm grateful for that we have out here that's in the middle and east. That is not as common in the west unless you're like up in Washington State. Racetracks. There's some straight roads right there, let me tell you. I can't believe I just left Toledo and I'm like 5 minutes from Detroit. And it's rural. Ah. Chewie, see if you can do something about that encoder. Oh, racetrack. Oh, racetrack. Okay, I'm gonna assume some of those have to be like school tracks. Although I don't see a school attached to that one. Now, I thought part of it was, I would definitely assume it's due to the textures and shading, but definitely the soil and presumably the crops being harvested have changed. I did not research what they grow in Michigan. Can't all be weed. It's a friendly and neat looking little airport. Is that a racetrack? Looks like someone's got to scale Indianapolis over there. A little longer on the front and back straight, though. Well, I can't do the math that well, but when we're 15.8 miles out, we will be 6 minutes away. Sorry, 15.8 knots. So, 6-7 minutes out. I'm gonna say that blob is us. Bush flight lesson to be always remembered. Stick to the highways. It's where everything is off of the highway. Unless you're going to like a park or something specific that is deliberately off of the highway. I think you're better sticking to the highways. Yep. Pardon my Yankee review around here. Apologies. Yeah. Farms, intermediate to small agriculture land. Say from driving across the country, pretty much St. Louis over to southwestern Pennsylvania looks this way. Still, 5,000 feet, it's a beautiful land, isn't it? So we're running the encoder for all it's worth and heating up the CPU a little over much by going, looks like 30 minutes is a safe jaunt. I'll have to figure something out. But we're going to land this one. Next one we're going to come back. I think we're going to flight see Detroit. That'll be my little offshoot for when we get on site and want to check something out a little bit more. In the meantime, I should probably call these guys and let them know I'm showing up.
Detroit approach Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree is type Diamond DA 62 5 miles northeast of 71 Mike India 5,000 feet. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree, Detroit approach. Squawk 4724.
Squawk 4724 Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree.
Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree radar contact 6 miles southwest of Detroit Metro 5,000 feet. Cleared through the Bravo airspace.
Cleared through the Bravo airspace, Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree.
Ah, I did it again. Richard. Damn it. Where am I going? KDTW.
Detroit Metro Tower, Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree, is 4 miles southwest, 5,000 feet with Quebec to land.
Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree, Detroit Metro Tower. Altimeter 29.9er, 21 calm, fly left traffic runway 27 right.
Enter left downwind runway 27 right, Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree.
Let's try and understand all that. Where's downwind? Downwind is that way. So I think I lost it for a second there. We're dropping out of manual, or sorry, dropping out of autopilot, heading downwind, and we're gonna NASCAR around it. I believe that's the correct way to do this. I just need to find out which runway I'm on. 27 right, huh? That looks like a racing paddock for dirt track stuff. Anyways, actually that looks like horse racing. Those are barns. 27 right. I can't see. I can't see a damn thing. This is genuinely bright runways. Let's do something about our height here. Oh, there we go. There's 27 left. I think that means 27 right's over on that far side. Well, we're gonna find out.
Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree, wind calm, clear to land runway 27 right.
Cleared to land runway 27 right, Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree.
I do feel a little bit like this plane is difficult to slow down. Again, what a pretty plane. I really think that's 27 right. I think it is. This would be fun. It's a very roguelike landing here. I'm gonna get given a phone number to call. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Yep, that's us. I'm gonna tell him to use greater contrasting paint next time. Won't have any trouble finding the runway I'm supposed to land on. Woohoo! Hey, that... Wow, that was decidedly not crappy. That landing surprised me very pleasantly. Alright, so thanks for checking out number 2. The waterfront Cleveland to... I'm still pulling back on the stick here.
Alpha 7 Mike Tree, exit runway when able.
I'm gonna assume that way is the way we want to go. Oh, now I can just pan without clicking.
Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree, contact ground on 119er decimal 45.
10-4, Broham.
Going to 119er decimal 45 Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was gonna say when I was coming in here, this is a big run. This is a big airport. There's 4 different ground clearances. 119.45. No, I don't want pushback. I'm gonna... I'm gonna roll up on these heavies and act like I belong here. That is the fastest forklift I've ever seen. Actually, that's a lie. I think I've seen, like, the motorized pallet jacks haul more ass than that. Hey, let's park right next to Austin Powers there. Ah! Well, that didn't help me none. You're wait right to the right, your pillar. This is how you park a car in a parking spot too, and then you commit to the turn. I suppose with a bigger plate it would have worked. Here, they can just like drive this thing. They'll get people a ladder for me. Bro, that is my parking spot. The forklift is bigger than I am. Oh shit. Ah! The last thing I need to do is ground this out by hitting something I thought I couldn't hit on the ground.
Detroit Metro Ground Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree. Could you please connect the jet wing to the aircraft?
Slinger Tree Alpha 7 Mike Tree, we can't connect the jetway to the aircraft. Please retry later.
After a couple of decades of innovation. Alright. Thanks for checking out the Cleveland to Detroit run. Keep your eye out for a flight saying of Detroit and the Flint, Michigan area. The Rust Rally. And then after this, we're saying goodbye to the US of A and heading on east into Canada. And we're going to be in Canada until we're in Greenland. I'll talk to you guys next time. I really, really want to get like the AOL goodbye. It's my last thought.